you do not want to see, certainly not nuclear testing, but obviously the use of a nuclear weapon in war is catastrophic for the whole world. And it must not happen. It just mustn't happen. I'm Professor Elizabeth Tynan, and I'm with the Graduate Research School at James Cook University in Townsville, Australia. In the writing of Atomic Thunder, I realised that there was a lot more to it, not just Maralinga. So my next book came out in 2022, and that was called The Secret of Emu Field. And Emu Field was an earlier test site in South Australia that no one knows anything about. And yet, in many ways, it was worse than Maralinga because it had a devastating impact on Aboriginal Australians who lived in that part of Australia. Shamefully, Aboriginal people in Australian society, in many cases, did not even have the right to vote. And they had no political representation. And they had no way of countering or even knowing about what the British were going to be doing on their homelands. For a long time, no recognition in the broader Australian public or in the political sphere that there had been any harm done to Aboriginal people. That has started to change with Aboriginal activism, very, very powerful, very determined activism from these amazing people who are not going to sit down. I mean, there's still no real resolution to what happened. There never is in these cases. You know, Aboriginal, Indigenous people around the world have been subjected to these harms, and there's never any real restitution. And that's certainly been the case in Australia. So the campaign goes on, and I think my role is to try and just show exactly what the decision-making processes were and what they were actually doing, what the historical record shows. So if I can play a part in that, I'm very pleased to be able to do so. I have a new book coming out. It will be out in August this year. It is the third in the trilogy on British nuclear testing in Australia. It will be called Nuclear Archipelago: Secrets, Power, and the Biggest Atomic Blast in Australia. And I went to the Montebello Islands myself in July last year to see what was left. It's an open wound, as it is in any country that has tested nuclear weapons. It's an open wound here in Australia. And I don't know whether any government, British or Australian, is ever going to properly reckon with it. I'm not holding out any hope, unfortunately. My Montebello book hopefully will just provide insight into the political and scientific decision-making. My focus is always on what the politicians and the scientists were doing, what they were saying, what they were thinking, where they were heading with this. So that is what people will find when they read Nuclear Archipelago. Young people have an enormous role to play in activism, in action, in making sure that their political representatives know the political risks if they start playing around with nuclear issues. Can I put in a plea to young people to make themselves aware of the history, whether by reading books or just by engaging with historians or talking to people or having a look on websites or whatever it takes to become familiar, because this is a very worrying trend towards the re-emergence of thoughts around using nuclear weapons that we're seeing in the world today. So I think the hope rests with the young people. I think if they can be engaged and get behind campaigns, political campaigns, grassroots campaigns against the use of nuclear weapons, then hopefully they can turn the ship around. That's what I'm hoping, because you do not want to see, certainly not nuclear testing, but obviously the use of a nuclear weapon in war is catastrophic for the whole world, and it must not happen. It just mustn't happen.